afternoon, or morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good Sunday and you're safe, sane, and happy. The first thing I wanted to do, I've got some great news to tell you about today and some exciting announcements, but the first thing I wanted to do is to thank everyone who sent well wishes for the company's 27th anniversary last week. It was on the 3rd of December, and it was 27 years ago that we washed up on the beaches of Goa and Karma began, and it seems like a year ago, 10 seconds ago, but 27 years. Anyway, that's quite a lot of time. So we had a sort of very subdued celebrations last week because obviously the global situation. But thank you so much for those that thanked us. And I would like to say thank you to everyone that's watching this, because whether you're a member of staff, whether you're one of our very loyal owners, whether you're a colleague that we do business with, it is a truism in life that we would be nothing without you. And a company such as Karma only exists and only grows because we've got tremendous loyalty and we've got tremendous people around us, whether they be clients or they be members of staff. So thank you very much for giving us the ability to succeed over these years. Okay, let me tell you about some new resorts we have then. And it's fortuitous because it's almost a bit like an anniversary present, because everything's slotted into place and probably it's Karma. And last week we signed 2 new resorts. I was in Indonesia on Tuesday and we completed on a resort called Karma Salak, which is in the West Javanese Highlands. And I'll tell you more about that in one moment. And then I rushed back to England and we closed the deal on the resort, which we've been talking about here for quite some time, which is called Karma Salford Hall, which is up in the Cotswolds region of England, which is a magnificently beautiful part of central England, I guess you'd call it, about 1.5 hours north of London. And again, I'll tell you more about that in 1 second. But I thought it would be quite good to begin with by explaining what our logic is in buying resorts at the moment, because I think some people might think that I'm slightly touched or insane or sort of moon mad or whatever it is, because certainly not many people in hospitality are acquiring resorts. But to me, I think we have a very clear strategy. Many months ago, I spoke about how I could see tourism becoming very domestic in the short term, and that has actualized, of course. And we've seen a huge demand for domestic tourism from our owners wanting to travel locally, from clients wanting to go locally. And I think that'll continue. I think the vaccine's great news, and we'll talk about that more in a bit. But I think domestic tourism will continue. And one thing that's interesting is a lot of people, myself included, have been virtually forced to go to localized destinations and have rediscovered them. And so I think people that would normally holiday always abroad will continue to also holiday domestic. So we've been looking for domestic resorts that our owners can exchange into and we can utilize over the coming years, and not only in the short term. So that's criteria number 1, to find a domestic resort. However, we've also got one eye very heavily on the international appeal, because we believe clearly that people will be traveling internationally very soon. I think only in a matter of 6 months or 7 months or 8 months or whatever it's going to be when the vaccine really kicks in, international travel will begin to come back. And so what we're finding is we want resorts which are not only attractive to the domestic market, but people around the world will want to go to. So they have real brand appeal, I guess, for want of a better word. And I do think that when people start traveling again, as well as going back to the destinations they've known and loved over the years, they're going to be very eager to try new places. And they may have researched them whilst they were locked down, or they may have been on their bucket list. So yes, they must have international appeal. We're also looking for destinations where we can operate our new club, Karma Casa, which is really an annual membership leisure club, which allows people to not utilize the product as an annual holiday, but to go for the day or to stay overnight and to use the restaurant and the bars, the sports facilities, or whatever it need be. And lastly, to be totally candid, it is a good time to buy resorts because there aren't many buyers out there. And so without wanting to sound in any shape or form like a vulture, and we always try and strike fair deals for all parties, but it is a good time to buy. And we as a company have benefited from times when other hospitality players haven't been in the market to acquire. We can go and strike deals which work for us and for our members, therefore. So yes, I think our logic is sound. I think the 2 we've just acquired tick the boxes perfectly. Karma Salak, for those that don't know the region, it's magnificent. You may remember I spoke about it a few months ago. I think a month ago, only a few weeks ago. And we do like to move quickly at Karma. But we identified a site and we've done a deal. It's about 90 kilometers from Jakarta. It's at the beginning of what's called the Puncak Pass, which is a hill, a road that goes up the hill, quite a high pass. It's underneath a volcano called Mount Salak. We're calling ourselves Karma Salak. Underneath a volcano called Mount Salak, which really is a proper volcano. It looks like it should have pterodactyls flying around it. And it's an area which is very, very famous for tea plantations, for a cooler climate, and for hundreds of years, residents of Jakarta have been going there to escape from the summer heat and humidity. It's got beautiful nature walks and waterfalls and mountain streams, as well as lots of new amenities like golf courses, and there's nature reserves, wildlife park, all sorts of activities up there. And it really does combine this sense of rural beauty with close proximity to Jakarta. With the new toll road, it's really only an hour or an hour and a half from central Jakarta. So you have something which is very countrified and rural, close to Jakarta. Our resort sits on about 25,000 square meters of land, so it's very spacious. It's quite jungly, and it's got different levels, and it's got a stream that runs through it. The building itself has 21 rooms, a restaurant, and the usual amenities. And our plans are to renovate it and probably to add more inventory in the shape of sort of camping tents that we like to do. And also put a lot of outdoor activities in, ballets for yoga and meditation and outdoor gyms and whatever. So I do think this will be very attractive to the populations of Jakarta and that area. I also think it'll be very attractive on a daily social club basis. And I think when people can travel again, it really will be a great destination to go and experience, either on its own or combined with going to Bali or somewhere else. Further north, in the colder climes, Akama Salford Hall is a beautiful building. It goes back to the 14th century. It used to be a Franciscan monastery. In a dissolution, Henry VIII took over. His name is actually on the title deeds at one time. And it's had a storied history. It has all the oak beams, and I'm sure my experts are going to place pictures up so you can see better than I describe it. But it's a magnificent building. It has a priest hole in it. It has four-poster beds. It's everything that you'd expect from an English sort of country old manor house. It has 36 rooms. It has lots of public areas. So we're going to have restaurants and bars and libraries and vinyl rooms and kids clubs and all sorts of things. And in the gardens, there is planning permit to put in, or we will reapply, I think it's expired, to put in a leisure centre and further rooms. The location, it sits on the boundaries of the Cotswolds and what's called Shakespeare country, named, of course, because it's just outside Stratford-on-Avon, where the bard was born. It's in the Vale of Evesham. So it has proximity to a vast number of tourist attractions, natural scenery, great bars and restaurants, great natural produce coming out of there. And from a Karmakasa point of view, it's right in the middle of England. There's a huge number of cities which sit within about a 90-mile drive from it. So again, we believe it ticks all the boxes. And I hope as soon as you can, many of you would like to come and see these new resorts and experience them. And there are more to come. I'm very, very conscious that the Australians watching this are probably cursing me a bit and say that we really would like some more ourselves. I do know it's been slightly hard to get new resorts in Australia recently because of the restrictions of getting in and getting out, and clearly because the tourism has been 100% localized and domestic. A lot of the products are actually not available because they're getting a high occupancy from that market. But that'll change. And I think as soon as international travel happens, A, I and my people can get in there, and B, some of the pressure will come off those properties. So I'm very conscious that Australia and New Zealand is where we also need to acquire more resorts. Well, I've been very lucky. I've been to Bali again. I went over again to meet my managers and see the teams and do some meetings, and it was a tremendous experience. I thought I'd give you a little update of what's happening there. Karma Sanur is now open, so we are slowly bringing resorts back on stream. We're hoping to get Ubud and Chandidasa open in the new year, and I think we will. We're ready to. It really depends on the traffic which we can attract there. At Kandara, the resort's looking magnificent. We're running a very high occupancy, 88%, which for a Bali resort at the moment is quite stunning. The spa is open, for those of you that know our spa brands. Down on the beach, it's actually very busy because not only are people staying at the resort, but there's a large expat community in Bali who's very passionate about Karma Beach. And I was surprised about the vibe. I was surprised about how active it was. Based on that, I've made the commitment that we're going to recommence development of the second phase of Karma Beach. Those that know it, we're putting a bridge over the back of the sand. And on the other side, we are going to recommence development of a kids club. And we're going to put another little restaurant in there, which will be more of a barbecue restaurant, like an Aussie style one with a big barbecue grill. We're going to have communal tables, and so you can grab a beer and something from the barbecue and sit down in a slightly more casual way. And we are doing some private VIP cabanas, which will sit up on the side of the hill, which can be bookable for a private party or for just getting away from the crowd, as you will. So I think that's exciting. I also, at Kandara, had the opportunity to look at the new construction, and I was blown away by the show apartment. I mean, obviously it's ridiculous that I haven't even seen the show apartment, but I hadn't been there, but it is tremendous. And again, we'll be circulating some photo shoots of how good that is. And I do think you'll be very pleased with the new style of design that we're putting into there. And also I've made the commitment that we will restart full development at Kandara just after New Year. We ceased it because of all the problems, and it became difficult to do construction. Indeed, there's very little construction in Bali at the moment, but we will start again and we'll push ahead as swiftly as possible and probably catch up some time because there's not much other construction going on the island. So all positive signs, I think. Over in India, I tried to get to India, but I couldn't, I'm afraid. I was thwarted at the last moment by bureaucracy. But India is growing. I mean, clients are coming more and more to our resorts. Most of our resorts are now open, and we're going to be pushing to get them all open as soon as possible. We're very pleased with the comments of owners coming to them. And India has rebounded, I think, quite robustly. It still has obviously problems with COVID, but they're very resilient. And we're very pleased to see that resorts are doing relatively well and people are coming on holiday, which is great news. So to close, we're obviously still in the middle of COVID horror. I mean, there's lockdown here in England and in many parts of the world at various degrees. I think that the vaccine is tremendous news. It's fantastic. And I think that the fact that starts very swiftly in various parts of the world, I think England thought it would be the first, but Russia jumps the gun. But I'm not sure I want a Russian vaccine called Sputnik right now. But I do think that's going to show a gradual increase. I think over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we're going to see more and more improvement, more problems being solved, more of a return to a sort of normality, which obviously is going to be tremendous for all of us. And so I think we as a company have a strategy and a game plan, and I think we're moving forward. I think there's more and more positive shoots. There's more and more positive signs. I think the world in general is beginning to move forward, and we are all beginning to see more of a light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope you enjoy my new resorts. I hope to bring you news on more soon. There is one bubbling, which I think could eventualize very soon. And I'm very eager to get more product for you so that when you can travel again, you can enjoy more calm resorts and have some more great experiences around the world. So I'll sign off with some wine, as always. Bit of a different one today. I went today for a German wine. I'm not a German wine expert, but I do like it. This is from the Moselle Valley. Whenever I go to Germany, I stock up on German wine and get it sent back. It's a Riesling Cabernet. So it's a Riesling, but it's a medium dry Riesling. It's not over sweet. And one of the things I like about it for a sort of lunchtime wine or a middle of the day wine is it's quite low in alcohol. It's only 8%. So, you kind of feel healthy. It's virtually fruit juice, I guess, at 8%. But anyway, good wine. Good to toast you. I hope you enjoy the new resorts. I hope to keep bringing you good news. I hope to keep doing what I can to push things forward. I thank you all for your loyalty, not only over the last 27 years, but now. These are tough times for all of us, and I'm very conscious that our owners are displaying tremendous loyalty, tremendous support. As we've said many times, we are all in it together, and I know we'll all get out of it together. We'll be happier, stronger, better than ever. I said at the beginning, I hope to come out of this with more resorts than we started, and I have a number in mind of how many more. I won't tell you because I don't want to be kicked if I don't do it, but stay safe. Stay sane. Stay hydrated. Good to talk to you. I'll see you soon. Bye now. Definitely fruit juice.